In this kind of world, what I would say I would specialize in is metal shaping. I'm starting to realize that I was like destined for this.
Nice.
Usually I do like 1 or 2 bikes a year. Man, I get inspired from like everything really. For me, what I really love is I love art. And I just like never gave up with it. And I just pushed myself harder.
What's up, y'all? I'm Jake from Prism Supply. Welcome to our series, My Garage. In this episode, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada, featuring my friend, Cristian Sosa from Sosa Metalworks. Cristian, I've always respected your work ever since the first time I met you, and I'm so excited for this episode. I'm so excited to go check out your space. Let's go check it out.
I've been in this place for about 10 years, like my place, you know, like I love it.
It's wild to me that you're like, what, a mile from the main strip in Las Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, Las Vegas Boulevard is
Las
just
Vegas Boulevard.
two streets over.
You've been somebody that I've wanted to feature on this series, My Garage, for a long time, and I really appreciate you doing this with us. Kind of give us a rundown of the space and tell like the viewers what you do in this space.
Yeah, so basically everything is almost storage, aside from like that little corner. Like this section here is where I do the work at. I mean, the place plays a lot of different roles. You know, like one of the things that we do is we build these machines. It's basically like a power hammer for metal shaping, because I guess in this kind of world, what I would say I would specialize in is metal shaping. At one point in my life, I came up with this machine. I knew that I needed this thing. I didn't have the money to buy it, so like I came up with my own, and I stuck with that, and I just kind of like the design evolved throughout the years, and it's something that we sell. So that's like one role that this place plays. The other part is I put on metal shaping classes out of here too.
That's awesome. I need to come to one of those.
Yeah, anytime.
Teach me.
It's such a good time, man. It's like very special. Yeah, it's like a small group. We usually do like 10 people, and it's people from all over the world. Like I've had people from all over the place. Some people are like brand new to this. They've never done it before, and I've had people that are like, to me, legends in like the motorcycle thing. They just never got into the metal shaping part of it. And then my bike building stuff, which is my main thing, is like what I try to focus on the most. And
Nice.
I do like 1 or 2 bikes a year is like normal kind of pace.
It's clear to me that you have your own unique style about you. Like, where do you have to pull inspiration from something?
Man, I get inspired from like everything really, you know? It's like for me, what I really love is like I love art, you know? And since I was like a young child, like I remember my main thing was always art. I loved it. So it just happened to be that I got mixed up kind of in this world, and for me, this is the way that I express my art. You know, I started working in shops since I was pretty young. That was
How young?
I was 16. Wow. Yeah, I started welding when I was 13. And it's like I feel like lately, I think maybe not because I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to realize that I was like destined for this. Well, everything that's happened in my life. I've been in this like area for 27 years, probably, something like that. So I've just always wanted to stay like right here.
And where are you from originally?
Originally from Mexico, Ciudad Juarez, Mexico.
And how old were you when you moved here?
9, 10-ish, something like that. Yeah. When we first moved here, like we moved here on a Greyhound bus, and I remember like cruising down, looking out the window and being like, what the fuck is this, you know? Because Juarez is a completely different place.
What was your first experience with a motorcycle?
I used to work for this guy when I was still doing the car stuff. He would leave his bike, and sometimes he would completely leave, and I would just be there by myself. So I remember like jumping on this thing and trying to figure out how to start it. I remember the first time I walked into that shop, I knocked the door, and the door was open, and I walked inside, and there was like bikes and cars everywhere. And I was like, fuck, this is like everything I've ever wanted.
So Cristian, this is a very memorable bike for me. It's like one of the first bikes I remember. I think it is the first bike I remember seeing from you. And I still love this bike to this day. It's so timeless and it's so classic. This bike could have been built yesterday, or it could have been built 10 years ago, or it could have been built 100 years ago. And it just like has a traditional, timeless style to it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so this thing, I got invited to Born-Free. I had this idea that I wanted to like build a bike off with ovalized tubing. So I would take the tube, and then I made this die for the Pullmax to flatten it out. So this is the first time I had ever done that before. And so like if you look at the front end and this down tube and all of this, it's flattened.
every single part on this bike is handmade and custom and unique. Every single part,
Yeah.
other than maybe the engine,
Right.
transmission.
Yeah.
So other than these two things, every single part is handmade.
And I ran across this thing a long time ago in that where it's like something has to be like beautiful and elegant, but it also has to like perform.
I watched like from behind the scenes you building this bike, and this bike specifically had to have been a crazy opportunity for you because of who you got to build this bike alongside of.
This is probably like the most special thing that I've ever done. I did this with my daughter when she turned 16. She had this project for school and she wanted to build a bike. She never asked me for this before. And she was like, hey, I really want to build a bike, you know, like for the school project that was like a whole year long. Somehow like Harley heard about this, and then I got a call from them and they were like, we want to get involved in this thing. So then they gave her this Nightster for us to build together for Born-Free. My kids have always been in the shop with me since they're like babies, you know, like tiny. They've always been here, and so they're like really familiar with the shop, with you know, just being around this type of stuff, to the point where they don't even think it's anything special, you know, because they've always been around this stuff. So when she asked me to do this, to me it was like pretty amazing, man. It was.
So how long did it take? What type of work did you guys do?
I think we did it in like, I want to say maybe 3 weeks to a month, I think. We just went in and redesigned the body work basically. What we had going on is when we started, we had it like sitting up on the rack. She would come up with the way that I come up with like my designs. I was showing her that we take like welding wire and then we just start bending it to try to find like certain lines, and I was trying to show her how to do that. So the whole time she would be sitting over there and I would be sitting in front of the bike, and I'd be like this or like this or like this or like this. So
she made the decision.
Designed it, yeah. So I would try to guide her in certain ways, but I wanted her to be able to be the one that would like come up with the lines.
I remember when you brought this bike to Born-Free, she was just like standing beside it with like the biggest smile on her face, and everybody was like going up to her and talking, and it just like felt like a fun, intimate moment.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful, man. I mean, that was like the highlight for me, like to see her getting like the recognition that she like very much deserved, man. Because she was every single day, she was right here. It's hot, like it is hot right now. It's not comfortable. It's not like a comfortable place. And she was just like, this is happening. We're doing it every single day. Some of my mentors are like very special people that I just happened to come across in my life. You know, like Sugar Bear is somebody that has been like really significant in my life. Somebody that changed my life in like with a couple of words. One of the very first bikes that I ever built, like that I built everything on, and Sugar Bear came up and he was like, man, you built this bike? I was like, yeah, man. I was like, oh, happy, you know. He was like, man, this bike has soul. You know, he's like, just keep it going. This bike has soul. And that never changed. That never left my mind. You know, it was like somebody comes up to you that is a special person, and you know, he told me like this thing is significant. You know, so to me, after that, everything that I did had to have significance. I can't just do something. Everything has to have like something to it. It's hard to make a living doing this stuff. Blessed now that I stuck with it. I never gave up. You know, even when like things are like hard as fuck and you're struggling with money, and that's the main thing. You know, it's like life is real. You're struggling making a living, but to me, it's like I'm destined to do this thing, and I just like never gave up with it. And I just pushed myself harder. Instead of stressing about having to figure out how to pay my bills, I was like, let me figure out how to get better at shaping or at welding or design or, you know, that type of thing. This is all I've ever done. So for me, I don't know if I'm in a position to be able to give advice because I've never done anything else, you know.
But you made it though, doing this. Made it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I made it. You know, I got it. I won.
Like you have a name for yourself in this industry, in this world.
And I get to do this, and this is my like life. You know, like my life revolves around this stuff. And, yeah. And like I said, it's just because, you know, like I never gave up, and I'm still. I have not made it. If anything, It's like the myth of Sisyphus type thing, you know, where you're like rolling this fucking, pushing this boulder up the fucking hill. It's hard, and then when you get to the top of the hill, it fucking rolls down. And then you gotta run around and push it back up. It's like finding the beauty in that, or finding like some sort of like meaning in that thing. It's pretty important.
That's it for this episode of My Garage. Cristian, thank you so much for your time. Dude, I really enjoyed our time together. You are an incredible person, incredible craftsman. Where can somebody find out more about you if they're interested in purchasing equipment or taking a class or getting a motorcycle built?
The easiest thing is Instagram. Just shoot me a message on Instagram and yeah.
Cool. At Sosa Metalworks, go check them
Sosa
out.
Metalworks.
Appreciate you.